Good evening, everyone. I, Adya Pandey, welcome you all to the 10th session of the PSPO webinar series. Today, we have Mr. Abhishek Bhatnagar, who is Ph.D. candidate in operations research at the Department of Mechanical Engineering at IIT Delhi. Currently, he is in the final stages of his PhD, and recently he has joined a logistics company named Ecom Express in the capacity of operations research scientist in their data sciences team. His areas of interest include applied operations research, statistics, transportation and logistics, and public policy. During his PhD, he has broadly worked on the school consolidation, teacher rationalization, school bus routing problems, and statistical analysis. Would now request Abhishek to begin with the session.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, Abhishek, it is visible.
Yeah, so good afternoon, good evening. I am presenting on an integrated framework for the improvement of school bus services, understanding commuters' perceptions for sustainable school bus transportation. Yeah, I think I am not able to change the slides. Yeah, so I have worked broadly in the public systems domain. So I worked with school consolidation planning problem, in which we are given a set of schools and we need to identify the schools and that can be closed and optimal student reallocation in the school network. I have worked on the teacher rationalization problem, in which we need to identify the surplus and deficit schools and suggest transfer of teachers based on that. Then I have worked on analysis of key performance indicators affecting school performance. In this work, we have identified severely lagging and benchmark schools and provide performance measures for those. I have worked on mathematical modeling for multi-depot single school uh, problem for bus routing. Here we provide the optimal vehicle and routes for multi-depot single school bus routing problem. And today I'm going to present this work analysis of perception of bus users and non-bus users for school trips. So in this work, we present an integrated framework for school bus improvement, incorporating the views of experts, bus users and non-bus users. This is the paper that I'm going to present today. So in this paper, this was recently published in Habitat International last month. So I'm going to present this paper. This is a citation of the paper in this slide. I am unable to change the slide. Yeah. So we'll start with this school transportation in India. So there are some facts about this. We have a good accessibility of schools. 60% students walk to school. These are located within 1 kilometer of habitations, but students in some cases need to travel additional distances for better educational facilities. Then they use school buses, public transport, cab, taxis, school vans, and personal vehicles for this purpose. Then large schools, generally those with an enrollment greater than 1,000, autonomously plan their transportation. They do this either by having their own bus fleet or contracting them from a third party. Uh, I am again not able to switch on the slide. Just yeah. So there are several issues in the school transportation. In India specifically, we have a large number of personal vehicles that are used for this purpose. Then double trips in most of the cases where parents drop their kids to school, and then congestion, parking related issues, and adverse environmental impact. So what do we actually need? We need to incorporate a stakeholder perception analysis framework and in school bus operations. So in this part, we need to develop a ranking framework so that we can rank the factors that influence school bus usage. Then we can identify the best, most and the least important factors to design the school bus services. Then secondly is how to retain the current bus users. We need to understand their reasons for bus usage, then their perceptions, and identify the improvement areas. Then we need to shift non-bus users to buses. For this, we need to understand their reasons for not using buses and possible interventions for likely shift to buses. So our work that I'm going to present today, this is at the intersection of four LTGs. LTG number 4, quality education; 11, sustainable cities and communities; then 12, responsible production and consumption; then 13, climate change. So transportation, so we'll just give some key areas of sustainable transportation. It has an extensive impact on the environment as well as social and economic implications. So the key areas include sustainable transport indicators and performance models, where MCDM methods have been used and can be used to evaluate the transportation systems. Then sustainable transportation policy, we need to bridge the gap between the indicators and the actual policy formulation. We need to involve all the stakeholders. Then we need to use sustainability concepts to improve the operations using different supply chain concepts. Then environmental impact is there, so we need to uh, be careful about the mode of transport, and we need to have an enhanced use of public transit over the private vehicle, and correspondingly we need to shift towards a more sustainable mode. New fuels for vehicles need to be used, and we need strategic transportation planning to improve the connectivity to consider network efficiency issues. So the factors that affect school trips are ventilation in the buses, behavior and language of drivers, attendant, fellow student, office staff, punctuality, bus stop location and route planning, availability of seat, transportation fees, noise-free and peaceful travel, safe driving, environmental friendliness, all-weather protection, hygiene, built environment, availability of bus safety equipment in the buses, and ease of travel with the school bag. So in this frame, we develop a framework. So the framework consists of two parts. First is the prioritization framework, and another is the commuter analysis framework. So the first framework is done with the help of the experts. So we, from the literature survey, we identified factors. Then we finalized them based on consultation with the people working in the broad domain of education and transportation, specifically in India. Then we classified these factors using Kappa statistics, and then we prioritize these factors uh, using a ranking of experts using the fuzzy best worst method. Then in the second part of the framework, we divided the commuter's perception analysis part in two parts. In the first part, we surveyed the bus users, and in the second part, we surveyed the non-bus users. So we used several statistical methods and tests for these analysis, and then we integrated the frameworks as I'll be covering in the later part of the slide. So we chose about 10 experts for this purpose for the categorization and ranking purposes. So we these were the results of the Kappa statistics. So we divided these factors into different uh, different the 18 factors into different categories of factors using the Kappa statistics, and then we developed this ranking framework. So we rank these factors. So the first four important factors came out to be behavior and language of attendant and the driver, safe driving, and door closed during travel. So these were the four important factors that came uh, through this analysis. So we clustered these factors, we plotted them on the graph, and based on the slope, we clustered them into three parts. So this helped us to actually design interventions based on these results and integrating the commuter analysis framework. So this is the sensitivity analysis. So in more, we varied the weight of the most important factor within the category and across the different categories. So we more in most of the cases, the factors ranked were in the same position. For the computer analysis part, we developed a generic survey, but we chose a school, Sardar Vidyalaya, to conduct this analysis. The key purpose was this school was located in some central part of Delhi, and it catered to students from most part of Delhi. So it represented Delhi and even NCR. So it represented most part of the cities. So the enrollment of the school is about 1,700, out of which 1,000 students approximately use the buses. So that was a good mix of bus users and non-bus users. So we got useful responses from 494 parents of bus users and 222 parents of non-bus users. These are the user profiles based on their trip length and number of children, highest qualification of the parents, occupation, and distance from the school. Again, these user profiles are based on the commute to bus stop. How do they come to bus stop? Then their travel time, gender, and section-wise distribution. Then we developed a binary logistic model for to understand the bus usage and non-bus usage. So the key insights from this model was students whose parents have qualification as masters are half as likely to walk to school as those with doctoral. Okay, so and those who have bus stop within 500 meters from their residence are about 6.5 times likely to use the buses than those with bus stop more than 1000 meters. While this value dips to like 3.2 if the bus stop is beyond 500 meters, as seen from this thing, exponential beta value. And students living near to the school are less likely to use the buses. So these were the reasons for the bus usage. So the key reasons were difficult for parents to escort and environmental friendliness to use the buses. Then we developed a few multiple logistic regression model to understand the variation in responses across different categories for different attributes. So the attributes such as environmental friendliness, cost effectiveness, good personal behavior, punctual drop, available seat, and bus stop near residence had different variation across the categories, as understood by these exponential beta values for these and the significance level. Okay, so and now we developed a logistic regression model for walk to bus stop. So those who walk and those who do not walk. So the key insights was the students who have bus stop within 250 meter of residence are 8.4 times more likely to walk than those who have their bus stop uh, 1 kilometer beyond. And this reduces to 2.3 just after that if their bus stop is more than 250 meters. So these insights give an understanding on the design of the bus stops that they should be within 250 meters from the residence. And those parents whose primary occupation is service are almost twice as likely to walk than their business counterparts. So then we come to this reasons for non-bus usage. So the key reasons emerge is uh, higher travel time and bus stop far from residence. So now our aim is to shift people to buses. So in this table, in this matrix, we take two interventions at a time. So for example, if we improve the safety and nearness of bus stop to the residents, 54% of the non-bus users may shift to buses. So this is how we interpret this table. So in most of the interventions, bus stop near to residents lead to a good amount of shift, as can be seen with most values above 50. So this has to be a good intervention. Then potential shift to buses based on the score, cumulative responses. So in this, we for how to interpret this is 45% of the parents may shift to buses if safety alone is ensured. However, there is an increment of 9.4% if it is coupled with nearness to of bus stop to residence. But in no case, even if we undertake all the interventions, 58% would shift at max. So remaining 42 will never shift to buses. So in the integrated bus transport policy, we plotted these uh, based on the FWBM ranking that we got, and the user we converted the user rating into the ranks. So our rationale behind this is the factors uh, that the experts say are very important. They should receive a higher rating from the users because we have to delight our customers, and we have to they are very important, so they need to have a good rating. So we plotted these on the graph, and then we draw this line of y equal to x. So the obviously it's never possible that all points would lie there. So what we did was we took these clusters, the one which I explained in the graph. So we put these clusters. So if any point is within the cluster, we mark it green, or if sorry, we mark it blue, or if it is below the cluster, we again mark it as blue. So what does this mean is, for example, factor M1, it is ranked as ninth in the importance list by the experts, but it is receiving the fourth user ranking. So that is, it is going very good, and we don't need to change anything about it. And it is not like very essential, but we are doing good on this. So, but the red dots, they need immediate attention. Yellow dots can need attention, but not very immediately. So, based on our results, we make some recommendations that safe driving in roads during travel are of highest priority and should continue in the current form, because they have received a good rating of from the current users. And another thing is, they can attract 45% of non-bus users. So we need to spread awareness among non-bus users for this purpose, because it is doing good in the current scenario as well. So it might be a case that non-bus users don't actually know whether whether buses are safe or not. Then second is better personal training. We need, and there's a need for better behavioral training of attendants and drivers. Good personal behavior coupled with bus stop nearness can attract about 51% of non-bus users. Then third is bus stop location. This is one of the key reasons to use buses as indicated by the bus users. And we need a collaborative decision making among between the stakeholders. So we had discussions with parents and school managers. So what they said was everyone wants the bus stop near to their place. However, in some cases, you can't buses can't go in every location. So you need to have a collaborative decision making based on the trade-off between the accessibility and punctuality, because sometimes the bus gets stuck somewhere and it gets late. So you need a collaborative decision making. Then transportation fees. So our recommendation from this is to use a distance-based fee system where we can have a fixed component and a variable component based on distance traveled. So help track the people who live near to the school. Then last is 55% and 42% of non-bus users have concerns with high travel time and of buses and long routes. So we need to optimize the bus fleet considering travel time constraints. This we have done in our separate work that we discuss some other day. So this is all about this. So these are the key references that we have used. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Abhishek. We can take up questions now. In case of any query, please raise your hands. We will take them up one by one. Dheeraj?
Hello. Hello, sir. I
Yeah, hi
have one
Dheeraj.
question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, what is the age group of students taken under this study? Age group?
Yeah, that's why I'll just come to this slide. So is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the profile. So we have like 14% of the students, parents who have at least one child in pre-primary, that is nursery to KG. So see, broadly we have like 6 to 18 years of students, and most of the students, parents have at least one child in primary section. So this is how we like, because many parents have multiple students, right? So we divided our sections based on, because most their responses vary based on their younger child mostly. So we divided like at least one child in primary, one child in secondary or something like that. So this was our overall distribution of the bus users.
Okay, sir. Sir, and one more
Yeah,
question, sir.
yeah,
Sir,
yeah. Tell me.
how we can take the waiting time of students?
Okay.
Bus waiting time, actually.
At the bus stop you are talking about.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, see, we had a discussion with the school. So generally, what happens is, during the morning hours, sometimes people convey to the driver that they are not coming. So the bus will not wait for those students if they do not turn up. But in the afternoon, a bus cannot leave the stop unless all the students are picked. So that is the waiting time for the bus at the stop. And conversely, if you talk about the waiting time of the parents at the bus stop, so they use a sort of app through which they can track. So if the bus is coming late, they can turn up late. Like some app is there. And if you want to model those waiting times, that is a bit tough to model because if number of students are more and including all the variabilities, that is little tough to model. So generally, what they do is like 1 minute at a stop, they stop. But if there are 2 to 5 students, 1 minute is almost it's about 30 seconds. But if there are about 20, 30 students, then variability would be there, so they might stop a little more. But exact data is not available about waiting at the stop.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other question, anyone? Okay, so in case of no questions, we can end this session now. Thank you, Abhishek, for this wonderful and informative presentation. Thank you all for joining, for your participation. And one communication to all the team members, we will not have our AGM today because of the delay. Further communication regarding the AGM will be made later. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Sure. Thanks.